Hello everyone, and welcome back to the layout. It's kind of an exciting day here on the ONWV division, as today we're going to be taking a look at the new Rapido E-8A locomotives and the office car special scheme here from Conrail. These are really nice models, really cool, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be very excited to see these, and a lot of you have probably been waiting a very long time to see these. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we take a look at the new run of E-8A locomotives from Rapido.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start this off here. As you can see, Peanut's helping me unbox these here. I actually pre-ordered these units from Overland Hobbies. They're kind of who I pre-order all my Rapido stuff from because their prices are pretty competitive. And generally, once I pay for the pre-order, they'll be to me within 2 days, generally. Pretty quick getting here to Ohio from there. But we've got all three of them here, so we're going to go ahead and start digging them out of the box here. Side note, I find it interesting how different hobby shops and manufacturers and stuff package things in boxes. See, Overland went with some foam and packing Peanuts here, the styrofoam. So a little bit different style than what I'm used to seeing here, but Peanut seems to approve. And as you guys are about to see, Oreo really approves. He's very excited for this review and demo here. So let's head to the layout and check these out.
All right, let's go ahead and get our Rapido E8 out of the box here. As you guys can see, we have something a little different from Rapido this time. Usually they were using like this plastic bag to put over the top of these, and for some reason they switched to this plastic sleeve to go over the box, which I kind of like the idea of here. This one, as you guys can tell, is kind of beat up and looking, but what you gotta do. I kind of like that because these two-piece boxes, I just don't feel good about if I ever want to sell something and ship it with these, just because this box lid can come off kind of easy. So I like seeing that plastic there to help keep the box together. Now, taking a look here, we have our Rapido operating manual here, which is pretty nice. I kind of like how they do this like fake book thing with them. I always think that looks sharp. And then, oh, look at all this stickers, a whole bunch of stickers because we're all kids and we need stickers. And got a parts diagram here, which is kind of, these are kind of nice to be able to just see how everything's put together and how everything's assembled here. We'll kind of talk more about that later. We'll definitely be needing this in the manual when we go to open this locomotive up. Now, you guys can tell here, Rapido's got the French half and the English half here. A lot of stuff in here. They have all their usual humor and whatever you want to go with. I kind of, the prototype stuff and all that's interesting, and some of the, you know, stuff in here, but this just, they get kind of carried away, I think, sometimes with some of the stuff they put in here. And some of the zany way they like to say stuff. So this will definitely be helpful here when we're doing our pulling this apart here in a little bit. So I'm going to set that off to the side and get to the meat and potatoes of our unboxing here. We're going to pull our foam out, and then here's our inner cradle with our locomotive. Now, here is our parts bag, and it looks like we've got a set of wind deflectors in there, a step for something, and a whistle there. I think that's one of those Hancock whistles. No ditch lights. I'll go ahead and comment on that real quick. I know a lot of people were kind of frustrated because Rapido said they were going to have ditch lights with these for the model to be able to install. I don't ever remember actually reading that from Rapido. If someone could provide a link to where they actually had that in writing, I'll go ahead and harp on them for it, but I don't remember ever actually seeing Rapido themselves say that. I heard people had asked them and they had told them that, but I haven't seen any literature that actually from Rapido stated they come with ditch light housing, so I'm not going to hold that against them. Kind of had expected to have to do that myself anyway, so not really any frustration from me in that point. Kind of what I expected. Kind of, you know, it's Rapido. I didn't have my expectations like super high with these. I just wanted a model that's, you know, usable and work withable. That's better than the Protos and the Oval and stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll get our plastic sheath off here and reveal our beautiful E-8A locomotive here. This is Conrail 4020. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick peek at this here, make sure that there isn't anything missing. And then I'm going to open up the other two and get them out here as well. And we'll start taking a look at all their details and everything close up once I get done with that. All right, for our 4020 here, of which you guys saw me take out of the box, as well as the 4022 that I did off camera, I'm very pleased to report I didn't find any loose or damaged parts, which is always a very good thing. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about the 4021 here. This one kind of frustrated me a little bit here. When I took this one out of the box, as you guys can tell, we were already down a number board. That was kind of frustrating. I have the parts that are missing here in a bag, but it's kind of frustrating to get a brand new model and have to be putting parts in a bag right out the gate. That number board was missing. Another thing I kind of noticed as well was this front lift ring deal is loose as could be there. As soon as I finish this video, I'm already going to pull that the rest of the way off and put it in the parts bag till I can glue it back on right. And as soon as I took it out, the speed recorder cable just literally fell off. It was just hanging on there loosely. So a little bit disappointing. And I'll go ahead, and I know some people are probably going to say, well, you know, we're modelers, you know, everybody has that. But I guess what's frustrating to me is, you know, you have essentially 3 parts right out of the box that are falling off a model. The thing that bothers me with that is, you guys can tell, these have, you know, lift rings and grab irons and all these little parts on them. And when I get something like this to where, you know, things are literally loose and falling off, it kind of bothers me because I got to go through and the way I am looking at this now, do I have to go through and nut and bolt every single piece that's on here to make sure that it's not going to fall off? Because that's a bit ridiculous for a brand new model, you know, to be doing that. And then, too, the other thing I'll note is not all modelers are, you know, at that skill level to be sitting there trying to glue this stuff back on with super glue and tweezers and stuff without making a mess. So that's kind of a little bit of a gripe from me on that. I really don't like seeing models with parts falling right off of them. But now let's go ahead and let's start taking a look at the finer details of these models. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with our 4020 here. We're going to start by taking a look at our front pilot area here. These models, they have some really nice little, you know, detail as far as our MU hoses, our little MU receptacles. Just really overall look nice. One thing I did notice, I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera here, is when I was looking at the grab irons, I don't know if you guys can see that, I thought something looked kind of funny with them, and it's because they're plastic, and they're very, very flimsy. It's kind of disappointing. I mean, they kind of looked, I could see what they were going for with having the very little detail here going into the shell, but I rather would have seen that be molded right onto the shell, not using plastic grab irons like we went back 20 years in the hobby with, you know, like this is just kind of cheesy to me in a way. But you know, you got your copper cut bar on there, looks nice. All of your, you know, all of your detail parts look very, very sharp here. That's one thing I could definitely say about these that came out nice. The one thing I don't for the life of me know, and maybe one of the guys that was involved with these can explain to me, is why we had an open pilot on the front of these. As far as I could tell, the 4020, in every photo I found all the way back to when it was an Amtrak unit before Conrail, the entire front pilot was closed off. I believe that was for a steam generator connection, and by the time that these were in service, at least on Conrail, that was closed up. So kind of a strange choice there as far as I'm concerned, but what are you gonna do? As you can see, we got some nice grab iron detail going up the side here, and a nice looking horn, nice windshield wipers, and then I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but there is a cab interior there. It looks pretty sharp as well. Very, very well done. I'd say that looks pretty good. And we come over here to the side of the locomotive. As you guys can tell here, we got some nice detail on our trucks. So those all look really good with speed recorder cables and all the brake rigging. All of that looks really, really sharp. Got these like etched metal deals here under the doors. Those look good. This etched metal side going down also looks very, very sharp. I'll give Rapido a lot of credit because these really do look pretty nice right out of the box. Take a look at the roof area here as well. Fans look pretty good. They look like fans. You know, you got your little antennas and stuff up here on the top. All looks pretty sharp. One thing I will say is I'm not going to sit here and pull out prototype photos and nitpick. I know a few people were talking about the dynamic brake section on these. I'd seen that on the Conrail modelers group, and I'm not going to go that far with these. I'm just looking at these overall. As far as like the color goes, the green is just, I'd say it's perfect. It's going to be kind of hard to tell on the camera, but it has that Conrail green that they used for these. The one thing that's kind of like not at all right, or at least maybe I'm just seeing things funny, is this yellow they used for the step and for these grab irons. I'm just going to flat out say it looks horrible. In all the photos I found, the yellow was a lot closer to this gold. It was almost like a, oh gosh, like similar to the yellow that Norfolk Southern uses for the end of their handrails. Not this like light colored banana milkshake yellow, I guess I'll call it. It's just too light of a yellow, so those will all have to get painted. It just looks kind of wonky. When we get down here to our opposite, our B end here, you can see we have all of our HEP stuff up there. Looks pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. And then all of our associated details here on the end. You've got all of your MU hoses, coupler cut bar. This whole deal right here by the door looks really, really nicely done. I don't know if that's separate pieces. I'd have to look at the diagram, but it looks like it is, and it really came out sharp. These grab irons look pretty decent. Are they plastic? Or see, these ones are actually metal. Interesting. I don't know why Rapido did the goofy, like some of it's plastic and some of it's metal. I don't really care for that. I wish they would have just done all metal on everything, but overall, just taking a look at this unit, it looks really, really nice. Again, is it perfect? No, but it's a heck of a lot better than the proto units we had before, as well as an Overland unit I'll be showing you here shortly. But we'll go ahead and we're going to do a quick run through of the 4021 and the 4022 real quick before we move on with checking into some of the standards on these. All right, here we have our 4021, as you guys can tell by my one number board that's on there. And the main difference between this one and the 4020 is the 4021 has the filled in front pilot here. Now it does have a different pilot shape as far as like up in this area here up towards the upper side. And I'm wondering if that might not be why the other two have that open front pilot, but otherwise this is pretty much identical to the 4020. Same level of detail, same, everything's pretty sharp looking. As I mentioned earlier, my issue with this one in particular was that we have parts falling off of it. So overall, it looks pretty sharp. I'm just kind of curious how much stuff I'm going to have to re-glue to this whenever I get around to getting it prepared for service on the layout. But overall, there's your 4021. Let's take a quick peek at the 4022. All right, so here's our 4022. And as you guys can tell, it's a little bit different than our last two. The last two were Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives originally. This unit came from the Erie Lackawanna, and as such has a little bit different setup here on the front. The headlight is sideways instead of vertical there. It also has the grab irons right up here on the nose, which, as you can tell, are plastic, again, because, you know, plastic. It also has this really cool little wind deflector. I'll give Rapido points for having that on there. That looks really sharp. But otherwise, it is very much the same as our other two, with the also notable exception is the steam generator style deal up here on the top as opposed to the head end power style. But overall, looking pretty snazzy. I like this unit. It came out pretty nice. Again, the one thing that just kind of cheeses me here is where is our closed front pilot. I can give it a little bit of a exception here, just because of the fact that this unit did have the steam generator, and I have seen photos of it without the closed off front pilot, but those are mostly from the early 80s when this unit was originally redone and put into service here on the OCS. So I'm going to do something kind of cool here, and I'm going to pull out a Overland model of 4022 so we can kind of compare them and see how far we've come with models and how much things have changed so far for the better. All right, so the reason I want to show these, because I know a lot of people have been disappointed with these Rapido models for some of their little goof ups and things along the way. I just want to show these just to kind of show, I mean, the Overland stuff wasn't really all that much better. The only thing the Overland model did a little bit better was they had the closed front pilot, but should be able to fix that on the Rapido models in time. But overall, if you look at the front end of these, I mean, just look at the difference in our number boards between this 1989 run Overland model and our current Rapido model. And, you know, you could also kind of take a look at how the windows look and stuff on the Overland. Just really shows you how far we've come with our models today. And then too, you look at the Overland model, it almost looks like brown compared to the green of the Rapido model. So either way, I just wanted to kind of throw this in here real quick just to show you guys, I mean, yeah, the Rapido model has its issues, but the Overland stuff and what we've had available to us in the past is really way behind what this Rapido model is. So now let's go ahead and let's start taking a look at some of our standards and operation stuff. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at our wheel gauge here. And we're going to go ahead and check out this model and see what we got here from Rapido. If I can get that in the camera right. It looks like our wheels are engaged there. That one looks a little bit tight, but it fits, so that's good. Looks good there as well. Looking good there as well. Oh, can we get it? Looking good there. And right there. I mean, they are tight, but they are right there. One other thing I'd like to note here as well is, if you guys can see, we got a little lubricant coming out of the old gearbox there. So that's always one of the things that kind of frustrates me, is when these manufacturers get a little bit carried away and you get this on the bottom because it gets on the plastic and then it gets on the model. So a little bit frustrating, but either way, at least our wheels are engaged. So that's always a good thing to see. All right, so we got our kitchen scale here. We're going to go ahead and do a little action here with 40/20 and see what we get. 21.23 ounces, so it's got some pretty good weight to it. I'm going to go ahead and check out the 40/22 and see what that one reads out at, just for interest's sake here. 20.74 ounces, so seems like they're all going to be about in the same ballpark. Let's go ahead and let's head over to the layout and take a look at coupler height. All right, so we got our coupler gauge and our 40/20 over here. Let's go ahead and see what we got here for coupler height. Looks like it's right on the money there on the front end. Go ahead and turn it around and check out the old rear here. See what we get over there. Looks like, again, we're right on the money right there. So that's a good start. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick look at the other two, and then I'll come back and we'll continue on our journey here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our lighting and functions here. With these units, basically when you turn on track power, there'll be little ground lights you'll see illuminate down there. So we'll go ahead and we'll turn on our track power, and you guys can probably see that little bit of light coming down underneath. That looks pretty nice there. Also, whenever you turn on the headlight, the number boards also should light up as well, which it's going to be kind of hard to really get a good look at that, but that gives you guys an idea. They're pretty good brightness there. I can't really complain. Maybe a little bit on the dim side, but I would imagine that as with just about every model anymore, the lighting's probably piped in from back inside the nose a little bit as opposed to LEDs being mounted directly. So you're going to have that a little bit. Also have white class lights on this as well, I believe here. We should have those, or F11. And you can see those come on. They're pretty bright. I don't believe Conrail ever ran white. I believe everything was always the red marker style lights, so a little bit of red paint on the inside would fix that pretty easy inside the shell there. Now, they have a number of other lighting functions here. It looks like you got like a rear backup light and stuff, but it's F13, and I'm sure a few of you out there will probably know my pain here. My throttle only goes up to 12, and I don't know how to jump all the functions around and stuff, so we're just only going to look that far. Whenever I put these on the low programmer, I'll probably redo that backup light to be a lower numbered function so it's easier to find. But either way, overall, those look pretty good. We're going to go ahead and just give this just a little throttle here and see how she sounds. Hopefully that's picking up there. A little bit of a motor hum, but nothing too bad right there as far as motor noise. Just a little bit of a hum overall. So we'll go ahead and we'll move through some of our sound functions here. F1 will do the bell. It sounds pretty good. F2 is our horn, which is not the correct horn for this unit, so we'll have to change that in the functions. Oh, we got a coupler clank on F3. Don't sound too bad. And F5 has a Doppler horn. I don't know about that. But either way, let's fire this up here and run her back and forth a little bit. All right, so overall it sounds pretty good there. We're going to go ahead and we'll do a little back and forth running around here. Kind of check these out and see how they look together as a group. Alright, so as you guys just saw, I just got done running this with a little short train of passenger cars I have sitting around here. So everything operated pretty smooth. They all ran together very nicely. Didn't notice any real issues there. They seemed to be pretty well speed matched right out of the box, as you would expect on a run that's all done at the same time. So that's good to see. Now we're going to go ahead and go over to the workbench, and we're going to take our 4020 with us here, and we're going to do the old CR Steve rips apart a brand new model and critiques the interior. Just to see, because eventually I'd like to add ditch lights to this unit, so I'd really like to see how everything's laid out in here. If this is, you know, the standard Rapido where it's going to make me rip my hair out or what. So let's head over to the workbench and take a look at these. Alright, so we're over here at the workbench now. We're going to go ahead and take our shell off our unit here and look at the interior. And of course, since this is Rapido, I had to refer to the manual here to see how in the world to get this shell off. And it says there's clips, and supposedly the body comes right off. We'll see here. I don't know where these clips are at though, so that ought to make this kind of interesting. We'll just kind of feel around here a little bit and see what exactly we find. I don't know where the clips that hold it on are at though. That's going to make this a bit of a challenge. I don't see anything in the sides here. Maybe there's a... Okay, there's that one popped. You guys can hear a crinkling noise in the background. The cats, of course, since I'm recording something, decide they need to play. So that always makes things interesting. Maybe if I hold it here and do a little popping deal. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere, it looks like. Oh, I just popped one back in. There we go. Okay. So there goes our body shell, and kind of get a look at what we got going on here. Looks like there's some kind of board up in here. I don't know how well that'll show up. I don't know if we have a lighted cab interior possibly, but if we look up here in the front, you can see our headlights piped in. It also appears the rear light is as well there, so that's interesting. It also appears our shell splits right in the front. I don't like that. I'll try and get a picture here to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about, but to put the ditch lights on this unit, I believe they would have to go like right in this area, like right here. So that could be a bit of a challenge to do that here with this shell. We'll have to see. But otherwise, I mean, pretty typical stuff here, if it'll focus. Looks like the keep lives are right on this proprietary board deal they have here, which that's kind of a bit of a bummer. My original plan with these was to take all this garbage out and put a decoder buddy in it, but that might not be a possibility just because of how this speaker and everything is. All right, so if we're looking from our front end here, you can see we got like our number board lights and ditch light. It looks like those would be the ditch lights, right? Would be right there to pipe those in, but that's not really going to be an option here. If I'm not mistaken, our ditch lights should be mounted like right here. So that would be a real pain in the rear end with how this shell is designed. You know, because Rapido, I wish they would have attached this front pilot piece to the shell. That would make it a lot easier to add ditch lights, but, you know, as usual, Rapido has to reinvent the wheel. And I don't, for the life of me, understand why they have to do that with these. Looks like the motor's buried underneath this weight here. And it does, now that I'm looking at it, let me zoom in a little bit here. It does look like the speaker's held in with screws, so we could get that out. That'll be salvageable. Should I want to do a decoder buddy install here, but I won't be able to keep the keep alive, which that's kind of a bummer because that was kind of a benefit of these. Kind of disappointed they didn't do it like Bowser did, where they had their own separate keep wire that wired in. Don't know why there's just a random wire hanging out here. That's interesting. Wonder if that's supposed to go down in there, maybe. I don't know. That's why I don't like these connector style boards. I'm just not a fan of them. Never have liked them, never don't. I'm going to go ahead and take a minute here and rant, guys, because I just don't, for the life of me, understand why Rapido has to do a different freaking style board for every locomotive. You look at, like, the scale trains ones, they have one board and everything. So as a modeler, you know when you buy one, you know exactly what you're dealing with as far as all the interior stuff. This is just, to swap all this out is kind of frustrating. Not to mention, just looking at getting down into all the gear towers, you'd have to take this board off, take the weight out, and then you could get into your gear towers, etc., to paint your wheels and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here on the inside. I just don't understand why Rapido always has to reinvent the wheel when they build stuff. So we'll take a look in here at the inside of our shell. Now, this is where it'll be fun doing a decoder, buddy, because I'll have to box in all these lights. Like this headlight, I'll have to build a box around that. The number board, I'll have to build a box around. The marker lights, I'll have to build a box around to put the light bulbs in. It looks like this is where the ditch lights would have been had they installed them, but they are not. I don't think that's the right location for the Conrail ones. Again, if we look at the unit from the front, I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves, they're mounted up on this this area here. I'll have to get a photo in there. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and put this back together and put it back in the box, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts while I'm doing all that here.
All right, so overall, I have to say these units did come out pretty good. I'm not really disappointed or anything with for the most part with these. You know, there's the usual stuff that kind of drives me a little bit nutty when it comes to Rapido stuff, and I kind of wholeheartedly expected that when I pre-ordered these. So really, if you're on the fence, I would say pick them up because I don't think we're ever going to see a better model of these be produced. I don't really see Rapido even doing another run of these because they're not a super popular locomotive to do. But really, my only real gripes when it's all said and done that I had, the things that really kind of annoyed me were the front pilot that's open on the 4020 and the 4022, because that's going to be a pain in the rear end to fix. And then, of course, my distaste for the use of the board that Rapido somehow comes up with in every locomotive. That kind of, I'm not a big fan of that, but that's because I'm going to take the thing apart and do all my own LED lighting anyway. But overall, if you're a Conrail modeler and you want a model that looks really good, and for the most part is good and ready to run, I would say pick these up. You know, they operated very nicely, and the lighting's actually pretty good from the factory. The only reason I'm going to upgrade mine and do all the separate lighting mounted direct to the shell is because I want to add ditch lights, and if I'm going to be going to all that trouble anyway, I might as well do all the lights that same style. So either way, guys, I want to hear what you guys have to think. I know there's probably going to be a few folks that are probably disappointed with the ditch lights thing and all that, but you guys tell me what you think down in the comments if you pick these up. And as always, guys, I'm Conrail Steve, and I'll see you in the next video.